All right, quick video before I go to bed. I'm building a custom, whoops, dashboard solution for my app. Um, this is the only progress I've made so far, but this is about 2 days in. So the first day was kind of setting up the structure. So we have the normal viewing view. So you can see here we have tooltips. So you can just view like if you want to add a description, and then the filters and everything. And then if we click edit here, we can see we get these different tooltips, or these are actually going to be buttons to allow you to edit the stats here. But yeah, the main thing has been getting this working. So adding a section. So basically you can add any of these layouts. Like let's add a 2x2, and then that will appear at the top. And we're actually using a really interesting sorting system here called fractional indexing. So it uses a base 62 counting system, which means you're not doing like a typical string compare. You're doing a um, basically just like a numerical compare on a string where you're counting from. I think it starts with capital A is the highest maybe, and then down to like lowercase a and then the numbers I believe. Anyways, so yeah, all you do is you like insert it at the front, passing in the current front index, and then it gives you the new rank for this one. And so that's a really interesting thing because the way I've done it before is I just store a rank number in the database, and you just have to make sure whenever you update any of the ranks, you have to update all the others to make sure they're actually in numerical order. But that's kind of a lot of overhead. Um, and so this system is way better. And then the other thing we can do is reorganize. So I think this was actually, I mean, this was just the last few hours, but basically what we can do is we have these buttons. And so what this does is this is actually a fat ass file. And I actually wrote basically all of this without the help of AI. I mean, some of these more complex functions I needed help. Um, but it's such a joy to work without AI. And I think I always find myself saying this, but I feel like Claude 4 Opus has gotten dumber. Like I remember like Claude 4 Sonnet has gotten dumber, blah blah blah, and you would always like or Claude 3.5 Sonnet, like you would always kind of think your model is getting dumber when in reality I guess your standards are kind of just like going up. But now I've been like writing it all myself and I actually know how it works and it's like clean, um it's just nice to write your own code, but yeah, so basically this component, we have one that just resets the state to make sure it stays updated because we're actually storing the state of this. I'll zoom in a bit for you. We're actually storing the state of this whole dashboard in a in a state variable here, and that allows us to make updates. And then when we save that, we just pass this rather than using a form, which I don't really understand forms if I'm honest. Like you could just use state. And I think forms has like some kind of like benefits where you can like tab and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. In general, I just use state for this. It seems simpler. So anyways, we store all the sections and when we move things around, so like say we wanted to move a section, we would take in that section's ID and then the direction it's moving. And so we find its index. And then if we're going up, we have to find the index above it to know like we're inserting before that. And then basically we just generate a key and upsert that or update that row in the database. Um, and that actually happens like once you press save, right? I suppose you could probably do it just like on user interaction, but that's a little slower. So anyways, yeah, moving sections and moving items, that's kind of how that works. And then we also, to delete sections, this is how it works because I don't really like the idea of opening up. Whenever I have a delete button, I have a dialog that pops up and says, are you sure? Right? I think that's, you would never expect hitting delete to instantly delete something, permanently. And so what I did instead is if you just click this, then it kind of selects it and it says you have selected two sections to delete. This action cannot be done. And then when you press save, it actually deletes those. So you just kind of, it's like a toggle, which I don't know, dude. The more I work on this app, the more I think I love just like UX and like designing kind of experiences. And you might look at this and be like, this guy's using fucking buttons, motherfucker. I'll just tell you, drag and drop is a huge fucking pain in the ass. Um, yeah, it's just a huge pain in the ass, and I hate fucking drag and drop. I mean, I love drag and drop when it's implemented well. Like I use Notion, and that's pretty clean. But I think it's really hard to get it right because honestly, I've never tried it myself. But whenever I have the AI do it, it fucks it up. And if the AI can't do something, I figure like, okay, it's probably not going to be that good if I try to do it. And so, yeah, instead we just do these buttons, which also simplifies things a decent amount because we can just compute each move individually, which is much simpler than having to like drag and then figure out where did it move from, where's it moving to, what's the, you know, yeah. But anyways, that's kind of how that works. And then the plan for tomorrow is clicking this opens up a dialog. You can enter in your details to create your stat. And yeah, dude, I've been putting off custom dashboards for so long. And honestly, I started this like 2 maybe 3 days ago, and I've just been breezing through it. I mean, obviously you look at it and you go, "Oh, there's nothing really there yet," but everything else is like planned out, and I'm just kind of executing now. And so, yeah, it's really not that bad to implement like a custom dashboard. I thought it would be fucking hell, but it's really not that bad. Um, and I just wanted to show this is High Level's dashboard. Um, and one thing I fucking hate about almost every dashboarding tool is we click edit. So we can like drag things, we can move them around, we can like resize them, whatever. Um, the issue I always see is that everyone's dashboard just looks like fucking dog shit because literally you just resize stuff. Like editing a dashboard, you're sitting there like, I gotta do this. And you just don't make changes that much. And so it just ends up looking really fucking ugly. And they don't give you that many templates. Like, let's see, maybe I can add dashboard. Oh, I gotta upload or upgrade. Upgrade. I'm fucking retarded. I gotta upgrade. So I have one dashboard. But yeah, anyways, you basically, um, yeah, I mean, you basically have like just this problem where dashboards end up looking really fucking ugly. And so my plan, and the reason I've kind of built it this way, where you add a section and it starts out as like either you can choose 4 stat cards together or 4 charts or like, some number of charts or like a table. And so these are rows, right? In here. These are actually completely separate from one another. And as you can see here, like the rows, and then within them, they have different cards that are arranged next to each other. And the reason I do this is because now I can fully control the kind of the way things look and work. And so I can make sure that, okay, even when we have this weird fucked up layout of 3 and then 1, this is going to get fucked up when you resize, but I made it so, okay, we can make sure that doesn't happen. Um, and yeah, same with this 1 and then 2 and then 1 right here. So yeah, I think there's like something to be said for just fucking taking some of the control from the user. They can still obviously customize it, but I really like this because A, it keeps engineering much simpler, and B, it also just kind of, I think in the long term delivers a better user experience where users get a better looking dashboard because they don't have to be responsible for making sure it looks good. That's kind of my job. Um, so yeah, I think that's actually going to be pretty cool. And then the other thing is, I want to add a shit ton of templates. So maybe not dashboard templates specifically, maybe some of those, but really what I'm looking for is kind of like when you click here, it'll give you a bunch of stat templates, and I'll whenever a user signs up, actually, I'm gonna create like, I'll probably have like, 5 or 6 dashboard templates that I just duplicate to their account. Um, because yeah, I mean, like, you want to have good looking dashboards that do the job without any setup. And if you want to get your hands dirty, obviously you should be able to. But yeah, I want to give them as much kind of power as possible. Um, Actually, this one doesn't have any. Let's see if this causes any errors. Yes. Fuck yeah, dude. I didn't fucking make any. Try to map any empty arrays, which is a classic fucking error. Trying to map an empty array, because TypeScript doesn't throw an error if you try to map over an array that could be 0 length. Obviously, that's a logical error, right? But it's not exactly a type error. But I would still say, like, if you're trying to access something that's undefined, TypeScript should be able to tell. I mean, you could easily figure that out from static analysis. If you can tell if you're trying to, use like locale compare on a number, I mean, you can still do that, but you get the idea, right? If you're trying to perform an operation on the wrong type, um, then you can tell if an array is possibly empty, and then throw a TypeScript error when you try to map over that without making sure it actually has a length of at least 1. Anyways, that's just a side rant. But yeah, the main idea here is really just to deliver a good dashboard experience without a lot of the problems that you typically see in dashboarding tools. And one thing, dude, I use fucking PostHog constantly. Well, I like PostHog, okay? I don't use it constantly. But I have a really big pet peeve with PostHog is it's just fucking overwhelming. And like, I don't really think they give, like, they didn't give me like a bunch of templates. I guess there's some templates over here. There's a few. There's just text. I don't really understand what this does. It's like, I think you should overwhelm the user with templates. What I like when I start using a product is I like deleting all the shit that I'm not going to use. And then I have my kind of minimalist setup that I'm happy with, that I'm going to actually use everything. And I think a lot of these dashboard tools kind of leave it up to you to get started playing around. I would rather overwhelm them with a bunch of templates that they just delete rather than have them not even understand the capabilities because they never dove into it. So anyways, yeah, that's the video. That's what I'm working on, and yeah, pretty exciting stuff.